Hey guys, welcome back to my channel via Glow. If you're new here, my name is Gloria and I'm a full-time reseller on multiple different apps and I resell clothes and shit. So in today's video, I actually want to go over my 2024 business plans, and then I also want to talk about some brands that I found in 2023 that I'm hoping to find in 2024. So I know this video is showing up a little late, but your girl is filming, okay? So this video may seem late to y'all, but it's still a little new to me. Okay? So the first thing that I actually want to accomplish in 2024 is go up by 25% on my year-to-date sales. Now in 2023, I actually went up 36% from 2022, which was amazing because I did implement a lot of different things in 2023 to help me align with what I wanted to do that year, which I'll link the video down below because I think I put out a video where I was just like, I'm going to be switching up some things, and that actually helped. So I actually just want to go up by 25%. Now it is just a very modest number, but I do think I'm probably going to go above it. So I'm excited to see how it's going to be when I reflect on 2024 and 2025. So what I'm going to be doing to implement my year-to-date sales going up is I'm going to keep my cost of goods very low. I'm a bins girly. I know that the bins get a bad rep because people are assuming that you are only picking up the lowest of quality items. However, the bins are not just catered to the lowest of quality items. You are able to find a lot of different brands. I know I have. I've been able to find some of the same brands that people pay, you know, $10 to $20 for at a regular thrift store. Now, of course, I'm not finding it every single time I go to the bins. However, your girl still finds amazing brands. I also decided that I'm only going to be sourcing at a regular thrift store bi-weekly. So that's going to be like twice a month. I typically do it for my reseller vlogs. Honestly, if I didn't film those, I don't really think I would be sourcing at a regular thrift store. Sometimes I do get an itch to go to one, which I did that yesterday and actually found some great things. I think I found Packed, Smart Wool, and what else? I can't remember at this moment, but I have an itch and then I'll go ahead and scratch it. So I don't really go as often as I probably should as a reseller, but since I go to the bins twice a week, it doesn't really leave much room to go to a regular thrift store. So I never really had a monthly spending goal on inventory. It was just more of a just buy what I need as I need it. So since I go to the bins and our location that I go to, because it is two in the DFW area, I actually only pay $1.29 per pound because I make sure I'm always, and I mean I am always, over the 26-pound mark, because the more you get, the less money you pay, and that is my goal every time I go in. So I've increased my monthly spending limit to $500 a month. Now I know to some that is very modest, but for me, since I source at the bins, I actually don't need that much to, you know, source, but that gave me a little bit of wiggling room to make sure that I am able to go to the bins twice a week, as well as going to a regular thrift store bi-weekly and all the things. So I don't think I'm gonna go over that very often just because, like I say, I source from the bins, but I do like to give myself just, you know, a little window to shop. You get what I'm saying? All right, so the next thing is to implement the buy sell trade store in my business. Now before, I would only go to the buy sell trade store just to liquidate items that just didn't sell for me, and I would actually get a decent amount. So I want to implement going bi-weekly. Now since I am at the end of January currently, I do plan on going before this month is over. So I've quite literally accumulated a full bin full of clothing from the bins specifically to sell to a buy sell trade store. So I'm excited to see how that's going to do. The goal is to source maybe better items. So when I go in, I will go in with items that of course I source at the bins, and then I will also look around and see if I find anything that is worth taking home. I know the last time I went, I think I only picked up one item, but I was able to flip that for like $75. So the goal is to bring in about 40 pieces each time to get about $160. Now that is what I typically get when I go in with that amount of inventory. So that is the goal. Ideally, I would like to make about $400 a month just with the buy sell trade store. I do think it's possible, but I will be sourcing a lot. So I think from here on out, I will be going into the bins with both of my Hulkins, because I do have two Hulkins. I have a small black one. I believe that one's the medium size, if I'm not mistaken. And then I have a large silver Hulkin. So I will go in with both of those, and I will make sure that I separate them. That way I can keep the receipts on them, so then when I do go in, I can have everything just more organized. You get what I'm saying? So the next one is to open up some more platforms. I've been rocking with eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari for the past like 3 years now, and I really want to get back into Depop. Now I've opened up Depop about 3 or 4 times. That was the platform that I initially started my reselling business on. in 2020, so it's my baby, but I just felt like I had outgrown it. I didn't pick up the items that would sell over there. It slowed down and I just didn't feel like it was worth my time. But I do want to hone in on that market as far as like the vintage, you know, the Gen Z people, because I do sell those items. It's just that they sell on Poshmark, eBay, or Mercari, and I do think if I put them on Depop, they could sell a little bit quicker, you know. So I do plan on opening my Depop back up. And then lastly, for my reselling business, it's gonna be to actually make it to 2K listings. I'm currently at 1,300, getting close to 14. I do think it's very doable, honestly. I had a goal in 2023 to reach 1K listings. I definitely got that in October, so it's gonna take a little bit of time, but I do think I can make it to 2,000 listings. I have scaled back with picking up men's and children's items. I don't have a problem with picking them up. I think I have a problem with them sitting. So I will be checking the sell-through rate a little bit more thoroughly for men's and children items. There are a few brands that sell for me regardless for the children's items, so I don't mind. As far as men's, I will be more diligent with just making sure I check the sell-through rate because I don't want to sit on it. A lot of the times I'm like, oh, it doesn't matter, but after filling out my closet for men's over here, it's a lot of items that I've had in there that it's just about time that, you know, that they get up out of here. So I definitely want to be a lot more smarter with sourcing those items for men's. And then the only thing for YouTube is to reach 6,000 subscribers. I think it's very doable as long as I am very consistent and putting out content that people actually want to see, which y'all be watching my videos. So obviously y'all want to see it, okay? All right, so now we are completely done with all of my business goals for 2024. Now let's get into all the brands that I was able to source for the very first time in 2023. The first one is The Great. Now I'll make sure I pop things on the screen. I actually was able to source this twice in 2023. I was so excited the first time I found it. I was like, look at God, okay? And they both sold already, and they sold for a great price point for both of them, and this is just a great brand to look out for. The next one is 𝕊𝕄. I found this out on a whim. I had a hunch to go to this thrift store, went to the thrift store, and y'all, I was flabbergasted. The crazy thing about it is the fabric of the item felt very cheap. It was giving very much so Shein, but the tag was like, girl, look into me. And I looked into it and I was like, oh my God. So this was actually the second highest sale that I've ever had. It was a $300 sale. I picked this up for $6 and sold it for $300. And y'all, this item was actually at a thrift store that literally marks up everything. So to pay $6 for it, wow. The next one is Love Shack Fancy. I actually just sourced this at the bins and I was really happy to find it. I don't think it's kind of like a super sought after piece, but I do think I'm going to get a decent amount for it. So Bia by Johnny Was. I find Johnny Was a lot. I'm able to find it at regular thrift stores. I'm able to find it at the bins, but I sourced this piece at the bins, okay? This one sold within a few days. Now, Johnny Was has a few different sub brands, if I'm not mistaken, but this brand is great. Johnny Was in general is great. I would always vet what you pick up and make sure you check the comps, price it accordingly so you don't sit on it. But for the most part, Johnny Was is just a great brand to pick up. 𝕊𝕄𝕋. So this was actually my first time finding this brand. Of course, it was at the bins, y'all. It was at the bins. And I found it and I was so excited because I'm like, oh my God, the girls be talking about this on Instagram. And it sold fairly quickly. I want to say within like a week or two. Yeah, it was a great pickup. Pomander Place. Now, I actually sourced this at a regular thrift store. This is actually sold at 𝕊𝕄𝕋. So 𝕊𝕄𝕋 is similar to Anthropologie and Revolve, where they have a list of brands that they also sell in-house. So that's what Pomander Place is. I found this at a regular thrift store. I think I actually found it on a reseller vlog, but the problem is it doesn't get any attention. So I don't know if I didn't get a great piece. Am I going to be waiting for summertime? I think it's really pretty. It's like a gauzy color block print, and yeah, we'll see how that one's going to do. Shinty and Parker. Very first time finding it at the bins, okay? I found it literally sitting at the top of one bin where you can tell somebody just kind of like threw it and left it open just to look at it. Very beautiful rainbow sweater. It was cashmere, so I think that also helped sell it. I do think I probably could have, you know, waited around and sold for maybe like $25 more, but when I pick up things from the bins, I am a little bit more forgiving with the price point, so I didn't mind it, and I would love to come across it again. Catherine G. Now, I sourced this, of course, at the bins. I picked it up because I thought the colorway was really nice. It was 100% silk, so I was like, let me take it home. I checked comps. I was like, oh, this is a great brand. This is actually a brand that I don't think I've ever heard any reseller talk about. It was a one-off to me. This one sold, I want to say, for $75 on eBay. I priced it pretty high, honestly. But this brand actually sells for $200 to $300, and it's like one of those quiet luxury brands, okay? Tadashi Shoji. Now, I actually saw this on a few like Instagram, like, you know, Insta stories. Is that what they're called? I don't know, but I saw it on there and I was like, you know what, let me familiarize myself. Found it at a regular thrift store. I think I paid $8 or $9 for it. Absolutely didn't care, because I'm like, this is gonna do great, and it sold within maybe like 2 or 3 weeks of me listing it. I was so happy to find it, and I've been looking for it ever since. APC. This is just like a menswear denim brand, if I'm not mistaken. I would 100% pick it up again. This item actually got a lot of attention. I got this at a regular thrift store. Jill Sanders was a new to me brand. I actually heard it from a YouTube reseller. Literally the exact same day I went out to the bins and I found a suit. I found the jacket and I found the pants. The pants sold fairly quickly. The jacket is still here, okay? I probably priced it too high, but this brand does sell for a really high amount. So I don't know. Big Bud Press. I recently sold this one, and I sourced it at the bins as well. And this is what I was trying to tell y'all. Like, just because people go to the bins doesn't mean that they're picking up crap, okay? So the bins is just not for low tier items all the time. I'm able to find a lot of great brands at the bins. So don't just like discount the bins, okay? Big Bud Press is just a great brand to pick up. I don't know much about it. I saw it on a reseller channel here on YouTube, and I was like, you know what? I remember that tag, and I picked it up. Literally sold within like a week, I want to say, and it sold for a lot of money, and I do think I would 1000% pick that up again. Definitely a BOLO brand. Teeks. Now, I am so late to the game. Found these at the bins, okay? Y'all can get tired of me saying that, but I found these at the bins, and they were literally just sitting in the shoe bins. They were rubber band together, and I'm like, oh my god, are those what I think they are? Because I saw like the teal, you know, bottoms, and I was like, oh my god. And they were Teeks, and these sold for like $40, I want to say. Mine had a few scratches on it, but I still took them home because I knew that they could still sell. Shojin, I want to say. I know I said that wrong, so just spare me, please. But y'all, this is a great lag and look brand. Pick this up at the bins twice, okay, in the same exact day, which is wild to me. And I came across the label, and I'm just like, this looks like it is worth something. Both tops, they looked really nice, kind of like, you know, casual looks. So I was like, you know what, let me test them out. So I think I put them on my Instagram. I was like, hey, do y'all know the brand? Because I could not make the tag. They were like, yes, that's a great brand, pick it up. So I was like, of course. Literally got home and listed them, you know, as time went on, and they both sold within 2 days of me listing them. Over $50, both of them. And I'm just like, wow, I love that brand already. I wish I can find it again. I'm thinking back, like, I wonder, did I come across it at the bins before and I never picked it up, just because the label was just like weird. All right, so the next one is Calypso St. Barth. I think I said that right. So I picked this up at the bins, and it was 100% cashmere. It was just like an open front, like dome and sleeve cardigan, and I think I sourced this like 2 or 3 months ago. And I'm just like, the girls say that this brand sells. Why aren't you selling? And literally within, you know, 2 or 3 days ago, I received a offer, and I was like, of course. So I don't think I sold mine for the price point that I assumed it was going to sell for, which was like $50, but it's still sold. So let me know if you pick up Calypso St. Barth, and do you think it's a BOLO? Dolce & Gabbana. Okay, so this is my very first time picking it up. Picked it up, and this one got so much attention right out the bat, and I didn't really think too much of it, so I don't think I priced it that high. And I think it sold for like $70 if I'm not mistaken. Probably could have went for more, but it was really small. It was like a extra small or a small, so I don't know. Farm Rio, y'all. I found this twice in 2023. Found it new with tags. It was a 𝕍𝕀𝔻𝕊. That was the first thing that I picked up. New with tags and still in the wrapping paper. I was so excited. 𝕍𝕀𝔻 is the next one. I actually found this at a regular thrift store. Super excited. I was having such a bad day when I was out there sourcing. It was in a reseller vlog. And I was just like, you know what? Let me just go look over here because I don't want to waste my time being in this store and I can't find nothing. Came across this. I was like, oh yeah, we got her. This is definitely a BOLO brand. I think the dresses are better performers, but I was happy to find something. And with it being a really pretty top, it's metallic, and I'm just like, this is gonna do great in the spring. This one is kind of funny because I found this at the bins. The brand is called 𝕊𝕊𝕂, and I assumed it was 𝕍𝕀𝔻𝕻. Now, I don't think I remember the 𝕍𝕀𝔻 tag, but I remember people on Instagram talking about C, you know? So when I saw 𝕊𝕊𝕂, I'm like, oh my God, I found the BOLO brand. I get home and I'm like, this isn't the BOLO brand that I thought I found, but it's still a BOLO brand. So it was just a sweater. This one sold within like a few days. I want to say either for $40 or $50. I'm not really sure. So if you see 𝕊𝕊𝕂, pick it up. It's a great brand. Giorgio Armani. Now I found a silk top at the bins, and I picked it up and I thought it was really pretty. It had like a cow neck. This one sold really quick. It got so much attention. I didn't really know Giorgio Armani was like one of those top tier, you know, luxury brands, but it is, okay? Because even when I was checking comps, everything was selling for over $50. So I was just like, oh, interesting. So yeah, this is definitely a brand you want to be on the lookout for. I'm sure you already know that it's a BOLO brand. The next one is ASOS of Switzerland. So this is just like a cycling brand. It's like a 𝕊𝕋 but like 10 times better, okay? Kind of like the Arc'teryx of like, you know, cycling. Yeah, great brand. I picked it up at a regular thrift store. Definitely was in a reseller vlog, and I was really happy to find it. And this one got a lot of attention. Then it eventually sold for like $60 if I'm not mistaken. Also, like I said, I don't price too high because I don't want to wait forever, but I probably could have priced this a little bit higher because that jacket retail for almost $400. So Sid Mashburn, this is a great brand. Never heard of it. Found it at the bins and I'm like, this tag looked like it's worth looking into. The item was corduroy pants. Looked into it. Great brand. It sells for over $40. So if you find a top, if you find some bottoms, pick it up. It's a great brand. Hatch. Great maternity brand. I actually found this at a regular thrift store. I don't know when. I used to never go to the tops at this specific location, but I was walking past the tops and I was like, oh, this looks cute. And it's Hatch. I'm like, wow. I think it sold for like $60 within like 2 or 3 days. So great brand to pick up. It's a great maternity brand. Dennis Bazo. Now I want to specify jackets only, okay? I sold a jacket for almost $60 from this brand. Even if you check comps, the jackets are where it's at. So Dennis Bazo is a great brand to pick up. I probably could have got a little bit more for mine because it was reversible. Natori is another brand that I think that you want to be careful with just because not all pieces are the same. You definitely want to make sure you have the actual Natori tag because they have like In by Natori, Josie by Natori. Personally, since I go to the bands, I pick them all up because they all sell. The brand does great, but if you want to make sure you are getting a pretty high profit, you definitely want to make sure you pick up Natori specifically. I pick up the bras, the kimonos, the pants, the tops, sleepwear, anything you can think of. I pick it up at the bins and it sells. Zadig and Voltaire, I want to say. I actually found a sweater at the bins and I was so excited, and then I listed and then it doesn't sell, and it's still here. I think I've had it for like 3 or 4 months now, and I'm just like, why aren't you selling? So yeah, that one's pretty sad, but it is a great brand to pick up. Definitely a BOLO brand. Let me know if you've had luck with selling Zadig. Crimson and Clover. Now this is just like a base layer brand, kind of like Smart Wool, but I don't think it is like fully a wool line, if you will. So I saw a nice little, you know, quarter zip, and I thought it looked nice, and I was like, oh, this is a great brand to pick up. Like, I checked the comps. It's a great brand. I don't think I've ever heard any reseller talk about it. So if you see Crimson Clover, pick it up. The tag really does look cheap, I'm gonna be honest, but the pieces are great. So just, you know, do your vetting and all the things, but pick it up for the most part. Clara Sun Wu. Now I don't have much skin in the game with this item, but I picked this up at the bins and it was a jacket. I literally listed it and it sold within like 2 or 3 hours. I think I had it priced at like $65. They sent me a $50 offer. I accepted it. It was a very quick flip. I do think this is one of those brands kind of like Ming Wang, where it's not like in your face, but it's also a great brand to look into. So if you see it, pick it up. Sézanne. I was so excited when I found these. Okay, so y'all know how some brands, especially like these, you know, top tier brands that all the resellers tell you to pick up, some of them are specific for their items. This brand is not specific for their jeans, okay? But I still picked them up because I was so excited. I just allowed my brain to just not work at that time. But they did sell for a decent amount. I think I had these listed pretty damn high. But they eventually sold, and I was really happy about the price point. I think $50 for these brands that people like talk about a lot is a good price point. Like I said, I got it from a regular thrift store though. ALC, great brand, and guess what, y'all? I found it at the bins. It was this really pretty sweater. I think the brand in general is a great brand to pick up, but of course you always want to vet your style. But yeah, this is a great brand to pick up. I found a sweater. It did great. I think it sold for 50 bucks. Probably could have sold it for more, but like I say, it's from the bins. You get what I'm saying? Vuori. This is just a hot commodity brand right now. It literally is before Lululemon, and Lululemon has been killing the game in activewear, and now Vuori is on top. I've actually been lucky enough to find this brand at the bins multiple times, okay? And they are always in excellent condition, and they sell so fast. I mean, you might, if you sit on it for longer than a week, you definitely are priced too high. But that ain't none of my business. The next one is Peruvian Connection. Now I actually found this at the bins and it was a new tags item. I made the mistake of not pricing it high, and at this time I was still so new into what my business model was going to be on eBay. So someone sent me an offer. So you already know I've been stopped that, but they sent me an offer and they was like, hey, I'm from Germany, and I felt some type of way, and I was just like, you know what, I'll go ahead and accept it, because it wasn't bad, but I still could have sat on it and got more. But it was my very first time finding it, and then it was a really quick flip, so I'm just like, was it that bad? Roller Rabbit. Now found this at the bins and it was literally just the top. I think they sell pajamas if I'm not mistaken. Found the top, and this one got a lot of attention, and I forget how much it sold for, but it did sell for a decent amount. It is definitely a BOLO brand. But yeah, y'all, that was it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching this video. Please make sure you hit the like button if you enjoyed it, and consider subscribing if you made it this far.